UMAR AHMED, IFL TV, MTK Global. We're in Providence. We're one day out from fight night. I'm joined by Joseph Parker's trainer, Kevin Barry. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
It's good to hear. Kevin, I spoke to you the day before Joshua Ruiz. Now, you were very insistent that Ruiz has got a great chance in that fight. In fact, you was kind of like saying it was a 50-50 fight. Many people weren't obviously picking him. He shocked the world. What were just your thoughts afterwards on that situation?
No, well, look, afterwards, I was shocked as well, even though I knew what Andy was capable of doing. And my biggest concern leading into that fight was that the betting public and the betting companies had the odds so far wrong in that fight. Like Andy Ruiz, coming into the Joshua fight was totally written off. He's a fighter that deserved at that stage of his career to be in everyone's top 10. A guy with very good hand speed as a heavyweight, very, very durable and great boxing skill. We're talking about a guy who's been fighting since the age of 6, so he knew how to fight and he had no fear. Of course, when I had Joseph Parker fight him in December of 2016, I studied Andy in detail and I knew the sort of fighter he was and what he was capable of doing in that fight. Most people just completely discarded him, and especially looking at the Dimitrenko fight when he was unable to get Dimitrenko on the ground. I think even Joshua, after he hurt Andy in the 3rd round on that fight, ran in recklessly with no respect for Andy's power.
I felt like Andy got stronger as he got up from that shot that dropped him, and felt like he could take Joshua's power. I know he got dropped, but it didn't really seem to faze him afterwards.
I'll tell you what, he got stronger once he hurt Joshua. When he clipped him with that left hook high on the head, that it didn't matter what Andy was feeling or what round it was at the time, he was going to be feeling pretty good about himself and his chances, and he took the most of that opportunity. As soon as he saw that there was a weakness in Joshua, and especially when he saw him on the ground, Andy all of a sudden had a full lease of life and a full tank of energy, and was going to take a lot of stopping from that point.
Kevin, this might sound very strange, but let's just say when Joseph and Anthony fought, that Anthony dropped Joseph, let's say in the 3rd round, like he did with Andy Ruiz. Do you think Joseph might have gone on to won that fight because they would have engaged in a scrap? And Joseph obviously has rapid hands like Andy Ruiz.
No, I tell you what the biggest problem in that fight was we had a referee that wouldn't let the guys fight. And if Andy had the same referee in his fight against Joshua, it would have been the same result. Okay. But there was a good referee that night in Madison Square Garden, a guy that would let exchanges go, would let guys fight in close, and not break up every single time 2 guys came together.
I mean, you had bad luck in England again with Dylan White, reffing wise. I'm sure Joseph wants to put them wrongs right with Dylan and Anthony.
Look, Joe would love nothing more than to correct those 2 losses on his record, and it's something that he feels very passionate about and something he feels very strongly about. But for us, it starts tomorrow night
with Alex Leopai.
It really does. This is our first fight under the Matchroom banner, fighting on DAZN. We've had a terrific training camp. You can see the way Joe is walking around. He is so healthy at the moment, so fit and strong. I'm very excited about tomorrow night, and I think we're going to start this new association off with a tremendous win.
Do you see a stoppage coming for Joseph tomorrow night?
Yeah, most definitely. Like Alex Leopai is a big, strong, physical guy, and he'll be using that strength and physicality to try and impose his will on Joe. But Joe at 27, he's starting to now really fill into his man body. He's starting to peak as a heavyweight, and I'm seeing some really nice things in the gym. And personally, I just don't think Alex Leopai is going to be able to match Joe tomorrow night.
Okay, that's good to hear. If Joshua and Dylan White fights don't land for Joseph next year, he's been linked with a Chisora fight, but also Andy Ruiz has come out and said that he actually wants that rematch with Joseph, because obviously he wants to sort of avenge his loss.
Right.
So that would be a huge clash. Obviously, if Andy Ruiz beats Joshua again, then Joseph's got a shot at 3 belts.
Well, we would love nothing more, if Andy can keep the belt in the rematch to fight him. But personally, I just don't think it's one of those fights that is going to happen soon. You've got
what, the rematch?
No, the
Joseph and Andy.
Joseph and Andy,
yeah.
And there are a lot of factors involved. Joe's with Matchroom, Andy's with PBC. And I tell you what, and I know AHMED would love nothing more than for Andy to win the rematch and to put him and Deontay together.
Yeah,
and then the other thing that you got to factor in is there's 2 mandatories due at the moment as well. So if Andy is to win that fight, he's going to have to go straight into his mandatories, or the belts are going to be taken from him. So all those things push a fight between Andy Ruiz and Joseph Parker even further back. But believe me, look, both guys are young. Joe, especially at 27, that fight's going to happen. It mightn't happen for another 2 or 3 years, but that's going to be a great fight when it does take place, and it'll be fantastic if it did take place for a belt.
A couple of more things. The Joshua Ruiz rematch, just from a training perspective, how do you see that going? Do you think it'll be the same result?
Well, I tell you what, a lot of people think that he has the style and he has the blueprint to beat Anthony Joshua. I myself think that I know there are a lot of things that happened in that fight that Anthony Joshua and his team would like a redo with. For instance, when he had Ruiz down in the 3rd round with that right uppercut left hook, he went running in recklessly like an amateur instead of just controlling the distance, getting behind his jab and trying to hit Andy clean with the right hand from the outside where Andy couldn't hit him. But because of that reckless style, he increased Andy's chances of getting lucky. When you're fighting a guy who's 5'10", 5'11", you don't fight him on his chest, you fight him at a distance, and these are some things that Joshua's going to have to correct in the rematch. Look, there's a lot of work for him and his team to do, not just physically but also mentally. Because when you fight a guy who puts you down 4 times, he actually steals and takes a piece of your soul. So there's Joshua's going to have to dig very deep to be a better fighter, a more complete fighter in the rematch, if he is to beat Ruiz.
Just the last one, assuming Joseph comes through tomorrow night, and assuming that rematch between Joshua and Ruiz happens, whether it's MSG, whether it's Cardiff, wherever, who would you like Joseph to box if he gets on that card? Is Derek Chisora, do you think, a good fight for Joseph at this stage of his career?
Oh God, Derek Chisora is a great fight for us, and it's a fight that was going to take place in April this year.
Yeah, what happened with that?
They were just too slow putting the contract out. If they'd given us the contract when we asked for it,
would have happened.
But it went on 1 week, went to 2 weeks, went to 3 weeks, and we thought they're doing the same thing they did to us for the Dylan White fight. And
shortening your camp?
Yeah, shortening our camp. Joe was still in New Zealand. He wasn't even with me in Vegas at the time. So I just said, I got to the stage where I rang David Higgins up and I just said, look, you're the manager. I said, I'm telling you now, that fight's not taking place. Dave said, done. So we weren't going to ever put ourselves in a similar position. We want to fight Derek Chisora. I think it's a great fight. It's a great fan fight. It's a terrific style fight for Joseph Parker.
Absolutely. Listen, Kevin, wish you the best of luck with Joseph tomorrow night against Alex, and I'm sure we'll catch a word after the fight.
Hey, always great to speak on IFL.
Absolutely. Top man, Kevin.
All right, man.